Hello, welcome. Crude oil, the hidden truth. Risk warning. Any advice or information provided by the it's okay. WTI West Texas Intermediate crude oil at its lowest in 4 years. WTI crude oil priced in US dollars is it at its lowest point in over 4 years. Although typically the volatile market recently we have witnessed a sustained bearish downward, there have been many varying opinions to as to why this has occurred. Let's gather the hard facts and attempt to draw some conclusions. Supply and demand, the driving forces of oil prices. Crude oil has typically has driven by supply and demand in the past. Supply and demand are typically the driving forces constantly at play behind all market movements, but for the crude oil, this is more black and white than usual. Let's take a look at the supply figures of late. If one were following supply and demand dynamics, only we might note that only since the beginning of this year, 2015, we begun to notice oversupplies to which we could attribute the fall in price. According to the International Energy Agency, the global demand has actually steadily increased and that was strong during beginning of the price decline still amid regular supply. Other forces, geopolitical. The US as an economy has gradually reduced its oil imports over the years since 2005. This essentially means it is gradually becoming the more self-sufficient and hence powerful and more independent. Due to the background factors in the Middle East, certain countries whom are a member of OPEC have continuously producing and selling oil at a cheaper rate than the US can. This essentially has reduced the going rate of oil and implies that US can no longer produce without sustaining a loss. This can be definitely classed as a subset of supply and demand, but not in its typical raw form. The conclusion, there is clearly more than meets the eye to crude oil. A simple supply and demand analysis does not suffice. Although we may assume classical techniques for analyzing oils apply, it proves insufficient in many cases. This is abundantly clear for oil, but we want to remain objective. We don't want to let our personal beliefs or prejudices sway our decisions. It is simply our aim to capitalize on price movement, neglect, and subjectivity, and as such, successfully trade oil movements. It has also been forecasted that should the US continue to produce, it will run out of storage by as earliest May 2015, it has been said. Certainly, supply figures from the beginning of the year to date support this, and should the same come to pass, we might yet witness a further bearish sentiment.